Hey, what's up, baby? It's your boy A1Solution. How you doing? But what's up, guys? My name is A1Solution. Welcome to an unedited Q&A where I just, give you some questions here and I answer them to share a little bit more about me. And if you're brand new, I do have a series with the Q&A and just chatting. So if you want to get to know me better, you can. And then I also have other videos on my channel, reactions to stuff and stuff like that. So anyways, though, first things first, am I scared of lake water and ocean water? Or it could be or too. It could be or. So here's a little fun fact. I don't think I really tell many people this, but I'm scared of like the lake water, not because of the water itself. Like I can swim and stuff like that, but the one thing I'm scared of is when I was younger, we used to ride the boat and stuff like that, and there used to be a trail. Obviously, it's always, but I'm just saying, like, when I was a kid, I was like, what is this trail? Why is there a trail behind the boat or whatever? And I think someone explained to me, but I never, like, soaked it in or whatever, ironically, because we're on a lake. But, I don't know, something about that, it scared me, and then I went deeper than that. I'm like, wait a second. What's inside of this ocean, dude? What's inside or not the ocean, what's inside of the lake? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be like swimming in a lake and all of a sudden, you get like taken down by like a animal, or not an animal, a fish or something like that, something undiscovered, right? So now I was pretty young thinking about that. I'm like, I don't know, something's gonna touch my foot, a fish or something like that, a squid, or and then it also applies with the ocean. But the ocean, like, we know there's sharks out there. We know what I mean. We know. And there's actually been an article. I saw an article somewhere on X, and there's been people saying stay away from sharks if you see, or whatever, something like that. Something about sharks, like, stay away, stop doing so, blah, 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 whatever. I don't know. But obviously there's sharks. Long story short, the moral of the story here is that there's sharks and whales scare me too, you know what I mean? And also there was a story too where a dude got eaten up by a whale and then got like spit out after that, right? So very interesting. But yeah, there's sharks, there's just animals, and the ocean's even scarier though compared to the lake. Like a lake, we know there's not gonna be much, you know what I mean, but there's gonna be something, and there's fish, and I don't know, I don't want to be that guy in a story headline saying this guy got eaten up by an undiscovered lake fish. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's dolphins, well, dolphins are a little less that they're more people friendly. I mean, that's what have been seeing. Obviously there's like whale watching and stuff like that, but I don't know. I think obviously sharks are probably the worst, but because I've seen stories too as well where people are chilling on a beach and a shark comes onto the beach and stuff like that. There's even a video of a shark getting put back into the water because the shark was out of the water. I don't know. I just, lakes, I'm less scared, but still scared. I don't know why. Obviously nowadays, not much, but I probably would go in a lake. But oceans, I don't know, man. Oceans are a little sketchy. But the lake water, I could go for that. But yeah. So am I scared of lake water and ocean water? Yes. So let me know if you are. I don't know if it's it's probably like a phobia or something like that, like a height, spider phobia or whatever. Also, so number 2 here's number 2. Have you encountered any weird medical issues? I have a couple. There's a couple things. There's a time where I had a botchy skin. I think it was like when I was in high school and also middle school. I had crazy rashes, man. And I had to go to like the dermatologist, stuff like that. I had to get my skin looked at, like what it was. Got some medicine. Luckily, that all got fixed. But the second time that happened, it was a little different. It was more of like a anxiety rash or something. It was weird. It was really weird because I was chilling in the cafeteria and my friend's like, "Yo, like your neck's kind of red," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "Yo, your neck's like all red." So I go to the bathroom and I look in the mirror and I'm like, "What the heck?" And then I go to the whatever you call, what do you call her, the doctor? I don't know, the nurse or whatever. So we go there, and then next thing you know, we sit for a bit, and then we call I don't know what happened. I think I called like my parents or like something like that. Called the hospital. Then they called my parents or something like that. And then I had to get sent to the hospital. And then they gave us some like whatever medicine they gave us, right? But that was kind of scary too. And because I had this before. I'm like, oh god, like is this gonna happen to me always? But it hasn't happened since. And I think the second time, the first time was more different. That was weird. That was like it was like the chicken pox or something like that, but it wasn't chicken pox. It was kind of like that, but it wasn't. It was all over my head. It was in my head, my scalp, all that stuff, and it was all over me. It was literally all over me. Very crazy. But the second time though, that was probably, I think that was anxiety. Because I was I wasn't quiet, like, but I had some friends because of basketball. Basketball is the reason why I knew people, so I got kind of lucky. But I didn't like talk to these people like every single day or whatever. But yeah, but and also I had another thing too. This one other thing besides like skin issues. I had this thing, and it's only happened in school, and it's happened like once outside of school, like after. Like a couple of years after, and I don't know if it was like the peanut butter and jelly or whatever, but I don't know, because it happened multiple times with different foods. Like I was eating like chopsticks, it's not actual chopsticks, but it's like the brand or whatever. It's like a Panda Express or something like that. I don't know. My school got it or something like that. So I had a peanut butter sandwich and I was eating it, and what happened was my saliva was like I was drowning. And it was like I had to low-key spit a bunch. I was like, I was spitting out a waterfall of saliva. It was disgusting. Yeah, there was that, and it happened at high school a good amount of times. There was one time where people saw me doing it. They're like, "What are you doing?" Like I'm just like, just like spitting out, right? Still to this day, I don't know what that was, but yeah. So that's some of that. I'm trying to think of anything else. Is there anything else? No, I mean I've gotten a boil on my face before. I've gotten that, and then I had to go to the dermatologist. Or it wasn't a boil; it was like an ingrown hair or something like that, like an ingrown hair, like acne thing, whatever. So had to get that. Yeah. So number 3 here: your thoughts on life from your perspective. I guess we'll start as a kid. The one thing about a kid is, you don't have no worries. You're pretty much like, I think honestly, this might sound crazy, or it might sound true to a lot of people too. I think when you're a kid, you're the most free. Like I feel like you live. It's a good life because you're a little more free. You obviously have school and stuff like that. Obviously, when you get older, you don't. But I feel like being a kid, you can get you can get away with a little more. You can, I don't know. You're just obviously. Actually, I don't know. I'm gonna scratch that. But obviously, the one thing about being a kid, I'll just talk about it like this. The one thing about being a kid, and then we're gonna talk about teenager and all that stuff. Being a kid is you experience things. You go through a journey. You're constantly learning. Even as a baby, you're constantly learning. And I think that's what a baby does when they're younger. They kind of look around like, they can't speak. They got no language. Goo goo gaga, And then you get a little older. Then you go through life experiences. You probably break a leg. You have an accident in your pants. You meet some friends, do some stupid stuff. Maybe hurt yourself in another way besides the leg. Like just. So many things. You learn about how cooking works, how to cook. You learn how to dress properly. You learn how to tie your shoes. You learn how to ride a bike. Like there's that's something that's so beautiful to me. Is we grow to learn, and even being in the 30s or 20s or maybe your late teens or maybe your 50s, whatever. Like we're always learning. And that's just something so beautiful about life. And bees are life too. Bees and trees and animals, and going back to the sharks and stuff like that. It's all life. It's all beautiful. And some of it might be dark beautiful, like like bad beautiful, like sharks. They'll go after you. Alligators, they'll go after you, right? So on and on. But life it's beautiful that we can walk and talk, conversate, feel things. It's also awesome. It's also, might sound crazy to some too as well, and might be true. Like I said, is that we can feel sadness, but it's a happy sadness. Like you're happy that you can feel something. You know what I mean? And that's something so sacred and so special and so true. And I think I'm sure of this. Butter said that in the South Park. It was super deep. It was when Stan came up with the emo people, or the gothic, or whatever, the goths. I think with the goths, right? But that was just so beautiful, and that touched me. But you know, and being a kid, like then you also learn how to drive, and you learn about life, you learn about, you know, right and wrong, all these things, and it's such a beautiful thing. And then you get older, then you become an adult, and then you have to do certain things that you wish you could go back to your teens or whatever, where you didn't have to worry about those things. And that's where I come back to, you know, being a kid. I feel like you're just a little more free. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense there, why I said that. But I just feel like being a kid, you're just, you know, you don't have to worry about paying for things, you know, bills, car gas, money, groceries, you know, having to, you know, do things. And you know, when you become older, it becomes more of a responsibility. And it's beautiful, but it's also, it sucks, but it's also just beautiful that life is filled with, you know, having a new birth, a new baby, you know, getting a promotion in your job, you know, going back to all that, you know, like, it's just, life is, it's limitless, it's infinite, and it has so much value, and just, it's phenomenal to me. It's fantastic to know that we can be who we want to be if you put your mind to it. You're the only one that believes in yourself. You're the only one that will not doubt yourself, because you yourself know you want to do it, and you just got to put work into it. You know what I mean? And life has so many opportunities and so many flaws too. There's definitely flaws. You know, there's definitely flaws. But the thing about life is, it's just, you know, it's all about brightness and light, and just being people and human. I don't know, this might be dragging on a little too much, but it's just, you know, and nowadays we're all living in different worlds too, with technology, and you know, we all got different, like, storylines in a way. It's like a bunch of different it's like multiverses, but with newspaper and news. It's like multiple verses, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're all living in our own little world. We're all having our own little stories, you know, and you know, that's definitely beautiful, but it could get a little messy at certain points. But life is just, it's glamorous, it's happy, it's sad, it's emotional, it's ups and downs, roller coasters. It's just, and then, but there's also a lot of beauty in it, like, you know, butterflies flying around, the sun, seeing waves, going out for a walk, or going on a hike, or maybe watching a movie. All these things, like, just so many things. Well, movies a little, I'm trying to get to, like, you know, the outside things of, like, technology, like, you know, like, just, you can go play basketball, you can go play with your friends, ride some bikes or something like that, go ride on your, you know, go outside. And so, like, there's so much beauty. You know what I mean? There's so much beauty. The weather, and the rain's even beautiful. It might suck, but it's still beautiful. The snow, it might suck, but it's so beautiful to watch it drop down, you know, get stuck on the trees. The trees look all beautiful and stuff like that. You know, we got cherry blossoms out in Japan. We got a bunch of other different kinds of plants and trees. It's just, like, this is, like, it's so hard to answer this, because I can keep going on. And I know you're probably, like, sitting there like, bro, it's so simple, but it's like, there's so much to it. Like, there's so much to explain. Like, there's so much to it. I know there's probably, like, a better way to, like, just say it straightforward, but you know, I'm a little extra sometimes. I want to just tell you what I think. And life is just, it's amazing. It's amazing. And falling in love is also amazing. And you know, achieving something is also amazing. And just, you know, growing. And every day you learn. So yeah, so we're gonna keep going here. If you had kids, what would you tell them? If I had kids, what would I tell them? That's actually kind of a hard question, because I don't have kids. I don't have kids, and I do want kids. And me and Jen definitely do talk about that. But what would I tell them? I would tell them probably things I know, things that that are factual, not opinions or theories. I'll leave that for like their teenage years where we can get them into some conspiracy theories or something. Like, yo, do you know the Earth is flat? Yo, do you know we never went to the moon? Yo, do you know JFK with this and that? You know what I mean? Like, you go on and on, right? But no, I'll just tell them things I know, things that I think that they might need to know to find useful. Like, don't put your finger inside of like a socket, electrical socket thing. Don't do that. Don't put your hand in front of a fan. Don't drive. Don't text and drive. Just on and on. Just things that I know that I could spread my knowledge and wisdom, especially living in a technology-isk world or whatever, right? Just stuff like that. And then things that I was taught, as much as I know. Obviously, you forget stuff as you get older, but anything of that. Teach them about love, teach them about school, and just your thoughts and opinion, and having free speech, and just everything, man. Just being yourself. Don't be afraid to be judged, because you're going to be judged. There's so much to it. You know what I mean? You just gotta just keep going. You gotta just keep going, and you gotta keep learning, keep wanting to learn. Make sure you learn things that some people probably don't find interest in, because those things might actually be cherishable. Cherishable. I'm gonna say it like that. I got a speech problem. But yeah, so there's just so much to it. Keep learning, learn words, learn the law. Learn a lot. Learn how to drive. Learn how to be safe. Learn how to protect yourself. Learn how there's so many things that you should want to know. But I don't know. Some things I don't know. Obviously, some things I gotta say. Hey, you might need to learn from someone else, because obviously, us people, we only know so much. And if we start talking about chemistry, I'm like, I don't know about chemistry, but I know about chemistry. You get it? Love. Jen, do you hear that? Jen, do you hear that? Jen, clip that. Jen, clip. Jen, clip that. All right. But I'd also tell them, make sure you have safe, sex, safe stuff, just make sure you pay attention. Pretty much, pay attention, and also be goofy, be dorky, be yourself, like I said. So I tell them a lot. There's a lot more to that I can answer that all day. I can sit here all day. And number 5, I have a couple of job memories. I have a job memory where I was working at a movie theater. I'm laughing because it's so funny. Oh my god. Yo, keep this in. All right, I'm keeping this in right here because it's so funny. So I've tried to say this like 3 times. I cut it out though, but I try to say it like 3 times. I don't know why it's so funny to me, but we're gonna do this for the 3rd, 4th time. It's funny. I know. Yes. Keep laughing, please. This is not supposed to be edited, but it's just it's stupid. Whatever. I might as well just I'll tell the story. But I love y'all. Make sure you like the video, please. Like the video. But yeah, so my first story or altercation with my job. I used to work at a movie theater. It used to be called Edwards, but then they changed it. I think it was Edwards still. I don't know. It was like the downsize of like a Regal. I talked about it in one of my videos, how they get the movies after Regal has it for like a certain amount of time. They get like the old movies, and you get to watch it for cheaper and stuff like that. But I got into an altercation with this guy, and we were like clashing, you know what I mean? And my manager got involved, so I had to deal with that. And then the funniest thing too is after that moment, I started getting like boom, like, hey, you didn't do this, you get in trouble. Then I got like 10, I think you get like 10 strikes or something like that. And it's just boom. And I think after that moment, that one moment, I think they did not like me. And I think it was targeted. But that's just a conspiracy. Say it. That's a conspiracy. That's a conspiracy. That's a conspiracy. theory. It's a conspiracy theory, but it's a theory of mine. I feel like they didn't like me, and I feel like some things that happened, I didn't do it, and because here's an example. Sorry, I have allergies right now. Here's an example. My manager is able to take control of my cash register when I go on break. So what if they made a mistake while I was on break? You know what I mean? And then I come back and I'm like, okay, what? I'm off? Wait a second. There's two of us that worked on this machine here. Who knows if it was you? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. My little theory of mine, little conspiracy theory. But yeah, so there was that. And then there was also a time where... What else was there? Obviously, I do have a memory where there was a diaper. Oh yeah, that is kind of like a memory there, right? There was like a baby diaper in there. Found some money. I found a $20 bill on the floor. That was kind of cool. I did find money, and then there was also a girl who peed inside the hallway. We saw it on the camera, I guess you would say, the CCTV or whatever you would say. I don't know. The security cameras, I guess you would say. But yeah, this lady, she walked out of the movie, right? And she moved the trash can, went pee, and then moved the trash can over the pee. And then she went back inside there. Dude, before I continue on with this memory stuff, the one thing about working at a movie theater, it's so fun, but it's also a wake-up call, like how people treat, these facilities, you know what I mean, these places. And I used to do exterior, interior, I had to like sweep and all that stuff, right? But just like seeing people, like you see different kinds of people, like different, I guess you would say it's niches, like how people act, I guess, or genres. I don't know. Hopefully, it's not mean to say, but it's just different kinds of like thought processes or something like that. You know what I mean? I just found it interesting, and yeah, very, very, very interesting. And but anyways, though, yeah, back to the memory stuff. I also helped my my manager at the theater. It's sorry, it sounds so stupid, but I had to carry a ladder from it was a 2-story, well, I think it was like 3 stories. Honestly, it was a little taller than 2. I guess it was about 2 or 3 stories tall, and I had to take a ladder downstairs, walk like maybe like 2 to 3 minutes worth of walking. And I was a marquee, I was putting up things, I was changing, the sign and stuff like that. So I was in charge of changing the sign, because eventually, at the movie theater, I also got employee of the month, by the way, just for 1 month. And 3-4 months later, I got fired. Dude, the funniest story. But yeah, so I had to walk like 3 or 4 minutes to get to the sign. And then I had to bring this ladder. Not only am I walking there, I had to bring a freaking ladder. I had to carry this giant ladder. Sounds funny, but it was not funny if you're carrying. Dude, it was hurting. It like went inside your like little bone right here. You were carrying it. You're walking by people sitting at Chewy's, drinking and stuff like that. They're all like talking, and you're just sitting there walking with the ladder. You're like, do 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 do. It's like freaking Three Stooges. Do 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 do. You know what I'm saying? And that was crazy, because I had to open up the ladder. I had to take out every single letter. And get this though, I did not get paid extra. So I got paid the same, but I got a raise on my job. Like my job got like I don't know what you would call it. I got a bump in my job. Like I was able to do more, right? So I'm sitting here doing more, and there's more to the story, a little bit more. So I was doing, so it's maintenance, right? Maintenance and stuff, marquees, maintenance, whatever. Did some maintenance stuff too. And I was carrying this ladder, and I'm doing this. I did this for like weeks upon weeks upon weeks, and I never got paid extra to do that. Like no manual labor, bro. I'm getting hurt out here, bro. No healthcare, and I'm out here getting hurt. It's so crazy, dude. And I never got paid anything extra. And then also the last shift, the closing shift was terrible. That was dude, it was so bad, bro. I had to stay there all the way up until the freaking end of the movie finished. So I had to stay there until like, well, not always, because I didn't work. I tried not to get late shift. I would try anything to stop that. But working night shift, like, you have to wait until the movie is over, bro. So that crap ends at like, if this is like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour movie, bro, you're up until like 1:30 to 1:45 at night. Probably sometimes 2 o'clock at night, and you're sitting here just like fiddling on your phone. You can't eat anything in the concession. There's literally food right in front of you. You just gotta sit outside and wait until the movie's over, bro. The worst job thing experience. It's just terrible because you can't do anything. You can't leave. You can't go outside. You can't go sit in your car. You can't drive and then come back and then whatever. You can't. When it just sucked. That was the worst. And then also doing like concession. I did concession as well. I was concession. I was what do you call it? An usher. And then I did maintenance. And then also back to the maintenance stuff too. The maintenance, I helped one of the managers with his like the AC things, but I didn't know how to do that. I was just like, hey, he was like, hey, you want to help? I was like, okay, sure. And then I just go helped him, and never got paid extra for that. That's extra, job work there. Like I'm doing something on the side at my job, so like I'm not getting paid for that. It's pretty wild to me. So yeah, and my pay was okay. It was okay. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. And then I worked at a Dollar Tree, and this one's actually probably the craziest one. It's actually crazier than the dude I ran into at the movie. I mean, nothing happened. The guy was just pissed off. He probably never came back, but that dude was just pissed off, or maybe he did, but it must have been like a busy day or something. I don't know. But never saw that guy again. But at the Dollar Tree, I used to work at a Dollar Tree. When they were actually $1, I mean, you'd buy something for an actual dollar, not no more. But there was a dude that was working there. He was an employee, and I guess we were like acquaintances or whatever, and stuff like that. And he told me that he was like, hey, like I'm stealing this stuff, right? Blah 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 blah, right? And then I told my manager, because there's no cameras in there, right? And he thought he was gonna get away with it, right? And some would say, oh, he's snitching. I'm just like, dude, like, he's still, like, that's not moral to me. Like, of course, I mean, yeah, some would say, oh, why would you tell on him? Well, one thing is I'm a very honest person, and this is during a time where I wanted to, like, gain my morals and my etiquettes and my respect, and I was trying to better myself, you know what I mean? And I wanted to be a better person. I wanted to be a good person. And I told my manager, and I honestly didn't think my manager, well, obviously you probably think this is like hilarious and it makes no sense to you, but I told my manager, and I thought she would not say anything, because here's the reason is that I thought she was a really chill, like, I thought she would not care. She would be like, oh, I'll talk to him or whatever. But she got really, really pissed at him, and so she talked to him. But here's the effed up part, right? So he wanted to fight me because I told my manager this, right? And then the main boss, the guy that actually like ran the whole place, not the manager, but it was like this person that was higher up on her. But before that happened, this guy, the guy I told on and stuff like that, he wanted to fight me. And I'm like, yo, like, I'm at work, dude. I'm trying to like work. He's like, I'm like sitting here at the cash register and like going beep, 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 beep. And this dude's like beep, 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 beep. Yo, what the heck, man? I'm trying to work. Like, I'm trying to work, man. What do you want? Like, what do you mean? I don't do it. Like, why are we talking about this right now in front of like all these people? And then I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm like, screw it, dude. I'm like, screw it. I ain't working. I ain't working here no more, bro. I'm out of here. I'm out. I quit, right? And then he started following me, and then me and him were both like this. We were like, fine, let's fight. And then next thing you know, all these people came out, right? And then I walked back to my car. This is back when I had a Nissan. I don't have it no more, but I had a Nissan. Walked back to it. And then the funniest thing too is 2 months later, my car had a pop tire, and I wonder if he popped it. I wonder if he like popped it. He was I don't know, man. He wasn't the brightest of people, but yeah, that was kind of crazy. And then I talked to my boss. This is where the boss guy comes in, the higher up here. I talked to him. He was like, hey, what happened? And I was like, he's this guy's stealing stuff, and I told the manager, and then she talked to him, and then now and like it's either you fire him or I quit. He was like, this is literally what he said. I said, I'm gonna say it again. I said, either I quit. No, sorry. Either you fire him or I quit. And he's like, have a good day. Have a good day, man. He was like, have a good day, sir. He did not even care. And you want to know what the wildest thing is he literally got arrested. Literally got arrested months later for embezzlement. So that's kind of crazy. It sucks that I lost my job. I love that job. I was so good at that job. I was so like, that was probably my favorite job. And this dude that was bad had to freaking ruin it. You know what I mean? Had to freaking ruin it. You know what I mean? And I was enjoying it. I loved like blowing up the balloons and stuff like that. Stalking the aisles, seeing my parents come in, say, "Hey, Anthony." You know what I mean? It was like, we see you, right? Blah blah. It was just, it sucked because I liked the people that worked there. Everyone that worked there was so cool. It sucked. It sucked. And then, obviously, that happened. And then, and then like after I heard he got arrested for embezzlement, like it was like 6 or 8, 9, 10 months, 12. It was probably honestly years later, I think. And I got a check for like $9 or something like that. It was like $9, $10, $12 or something like that. So I don't know. It was like random money or something like that might have been from like the embezzlement case or something like that. I don't know. But there was that. And then I did work with my uncle too. I did work with my uncle for a little bit. I do have a story where we were like a whole city over, and we were doing construction here, and me and my uncle, we got into a fight. And I think it was like me and my uncle and my dad or something like that. My dad does construction or something like that, but it was something like that. And we got into a fight, and I was like, what, screw this, man. Like, and then I walk home, right? But here's the thing, I'm like a whole city over. It will take me a full entire day to get to where I want to go. I'm not taking a bus, I'm not taking a car. I'm walking, and then luckily my dad, he saw me, and then he picked me up and stuff like that. He got mad at me. He was obviously mad which is understandable. You're a kid and you're under 18. No, I think I was like over 18, but just a little bit older than that, I think. Yeah, this is all before my other job stuff, because after a while in the construction, it just wasn't for me. And I ended up going to the movie theater, like applied for a job, which was cool, which was fun, great people there, but yeah, so like that happened, and then, obviously the construction stuff, it just, I don't know, it wasn't for me. I wasn't, I'm not a math person, I don't like math and, solving, all that stuff. So it's just not my criteria, but, not much really happened there. It was really chill. My uncle, he always got me food in the morning. He got lunch, whatever. He did a lot with that. And then, I did meet Bruno Mars' brother. That was pretty cool. Man. That blew my mind. I'm like, oh my god, like, dude, this is Bruno Mars's brother, dude. Pretty crazy. That's the only person I met that was, a little bit kind of pop. Well, I don't know if you would say he's popular, but Bruno Mars is popular. His brother, but that was kind of cool. And also his brother drums too. Bruno Mars's brother. His brother drums. The guy that we worked at his house, right? So that was kind of cool. So, but yeah, nothing really too crazy. It was pretty chill. And then my uncle, eventually gave me the Nissan, which I started driving to work in the movie theater and also Dollar Tree. So that's kind of cool. It's cool stuff. So that's pretty much it, man. And then there's this other side job that I did for like probably like 3 or 4 days or something like that. So a friend that I knew didn't have a driver's license because he got it like he had to like pay for it or he needed it or something like that. And he was like, "Hey, can you like drive me to work or something like that?" And then I had to drive his freaking concrete. Dude, I had to drive his freaking concrete truck, bro. This thing was like, it was like this, dude. It was like this. It was like, I'm trying to get like a good aim angle here, but it was like, oh, dude, this thing was, it was, honestly, I don't even know if it was legal. I don't even know if it was legal, bro. But, cause it was just like, the truck, it was just, it felt like I needed like a permit for it. Cause it was a concrete truck, like this car, like pushed. It wasn't the big spily, swirly one, you know, the bigger one. It was like a smaller kind of, implementation. You know, it was a smaller implementation of that, and it was just the funniest thing. Like I'm driving on there, I'm like, dude, the steering wheel was like shaking, was like, it was like, right? It was just shaking. It was scary and. This thing, it was a beast. It was a beast. It was like a Tonka truck, bro. It was one of those Tonka trucks, dude. And it was just, you know, scary. But, you know, I did that for like 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, yo, I'm done. Yo, get your crap, dude. I'm done. I mean, the pay was not good. The dude had nothing planned out. Like, it was the most effed up experience in my life. Like, it was a dude I knew too. It wasn't really like a guy that was like random. Like I knew this person, but he was so unorganized, unplanned. It just didn't work out well. Yeah, so that really sucked. But yeah, that's pretty much all my job stuff there. But anyways, though, this is a Q&A, unedited. I do it every other week. I try to do it every other week and stuff like that. And yeah, I think I don't know if I did one last week or not. I don't think so. I forget. But if I did, then oh well, here's the extra one. If not, then cool. Here we go. This is your boy A1 Solution. We out here busting fuego, chewing bubblegum, kicking butt, saving the day. Knowing is half the battle. I'm a superhero, and we out here having fun, just chilling, just relaxing. Grab a snack when you watch these. Just enjoy it. Have a fun time. You know, this is nothing too serious. This is a non-edited video. A non-edited video from your boy A1 Solution. Anthony's one solution. The A means Anthony. The one means me as one person. A1 means everyone. The solution is all that coming together. This is called the circle of life. Make sure you stay taking care of yourself. Stay hydrated. And take care of yourself, fam. Take care of yourself, fam. A1 fam. Stay A1. A1 out. Peace.